Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Today, from our company side, we are going to share with you with what our team has prepared on the dehumidifier proposal. Before we start, I would like to extend our gratitude to AMM company for giving us the chance, the opportunity to be involved in this. So for the first part, we will talk about the preliminary section where multiple surveys on the market demand and what we have concluded from there and some other aspects that we will swiftly go through.
As we all know, Malaysia has a tropical rainforest climate, which means the weather in Malaysia is naturally hot and humid throughout the year, and rain is endlessly heavy. Due to this, the weather in Malaysia has relative humidity of 60% to 80%, and sometimes it goes up to 95%. So, to what end does this high humidity will bring into the society? Now, since Malaysia is having this rainy season, damp and humid, people in Malaysia tend to dry their clothes indoor. And knowing this is happening, the moisture content inside the household increase much more. And as the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, has recommended that to keep indoor relative humidity around 30 to 65% to reduce mold and microbial growth, which means it's better important for the health and comfort of human beings. So what will happen when we have this high humidity in Malaysia? First of all, mold can grow on the walls. They can have a rapid growth. The microbial growth will be increasing. And other than that, it actually can trigger discomfort and heat rash on human beings. Next is that it can actually influence the rheumatoid arthritis on human and makes it harder for people with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is COPD, to live their daily life. To the situation that has been going on in Malaysia, bringing us into the topic that we are on today, which is the humidifier. What is the dehumidifier? Well, the humidifier functions in reducing and maintaining the level of humidity in the air. Therefore, the current occurrence, air dehumidifier is actually in high demand. Other than that, the humidifier actually operates to eliminate a musty odor and prevent the growth of mildew by extracting the humidity from the air. Now, dehumidifier is split into three categories, which is the chemical, absorbent, heat pumps, and ventilating dehumidifiers. With the advancing technologies that has been existing throughout the years, dehumidifier do not only function as moisture absorbers. There are a variety of dehumidifiers available in the market with various features and power level, which make the appliance fit to their main applications depending on the dehumidifier price.
Now going on to the market demand, the humidifier market has projected to reach a valuation of 4.8 billion US dollar in the revenue by 2030 with a CAGR of 7.3%. And if you want to know that air dehumidifier actually reached its market size of 3.1 billion back in 2020, and it was expected to reach 4.2 billion USD in 2026. So what was the rising factor on the market demand that shoots up the market size? So first thing first is the rising public awareness about the need of air quality improvement and energy consumption along with the environmental pollution. This actually has triggered as health has become number one priority in human life. Next is the rising number of households and the expansion of urbanization. Other than that is the local residents voluntarily disperse their money for health benefits, meaning that they are willingly to spend more in order to have a better standard life, to change their lifestyle into a much more healthier environmental for their family members. Now, let's see what other brands of dehumidifier offers to the society. We have 3 to go through today. First of all, we are going for the media. Media Easy Dry 30 pint dehumidifier will be our model that we are going to talk about for our company. As you can see, for media, it has a lot of advantages, such as Energy Star certification, which means that this model actually can save up energy, and it can cover up to 140 meter square for the ranging, and it has a auto start and defrost function to avoid any icicle that can form within the system inside. It also has turbo mode, and it can maintain the humidity at 55%. And the tank, it has the highest tank level volume, which is 10.5 liter, and weighs approximately not bad, which is 15 kilogram. And it is also easy to maintain, as you only need to change the filtration. But how about the disadvantages? First of all, the most agreed feedback that media got for this model is actually it is a noise producing appliance. That even though it claims not to be a low noise appliance, however, it is actually noisy for the likings of the consumers. Other than that, it is heavy and it does not offer sustainability. Now moving on to Philips. Philips Series 5000 2-in-1 air dehumidifier. Well, this model actually has a combination of dual technology, which is it has air dehumidifier and air purifier. And this appliance actually can cover up to 104 meters square, and it has multiple modes, which are auto, manual, and five fan speeds mode. And the most special feature that is very requested, which is the dry laundry mode. And this machinery and not machine, this appliance can actually adjust humidity from 30 to 60%. And the tank that it has is a 4 liter, which is the lowest among the three model that we'll be comparing today. And as for the weight, it is 14 kilogram weight, which is still pretty heavy for the consumers. So the disadvantages is, yes, once again, it is heavy for the consumer's liking. And not only that, it has the highest price, but it also offers two technology, which is air dehumidifier and air purifier. And not only that, it is not entirely environmentally friendly, as it uses a refrigerant which is R134A, which is highly hazardous for the environmental, as it can cause the global warming. And not only that, there are consumers feedback that stated it is not convenient to operate in the dark, as it does not have LED displays on the control panel. Last but not least is Malaysia's favorite brand, which is Cuckoo dehumidifier. We are going to talk about their dehumidifier. Okay, we would like to let you know that Cuckoo dehumidifier has this one special feature that stood up compared to the other brand, which is it has a reverse auto swing, which the dry air release from the appliance will be contact with cold air to avoid dry skin or any irritation. So health wise, it is actually really good, as it can avoid heat rash. Other than that, this dehumidifier also have the dry laundry mode, just like the Philips one before. And other than that, however, it only has 3 fan speed compared to Philips earlier, but it actually has continuous draining, which continuous draining mode, where you can only attach a hose at the back to avoid from removing the water frequently, meaning it will have an auto draining system. It is low noise, and great energy efficiency grade. And it also has a touch and LED display panels. And I'd say for this kind of price of dehumidifier, which is 1,815, the only disadvantage is that this model that this dehumidifier have is only it is heavy for consumers liking. It is weight around 19 kilogram. So after comparing all the three, the overall rating for each model which was given are shown as shown. And as you can see, Cuckoo has the highest rating among the three, which is 4.3 rating. And from all of this comparison that we already made, the analysis, we will use them to incorporate into.
So what can we deduce from the analysis built earlier? So what are the consumer needs? Consumer wanted clean, balanced, humid, and cool air. It is they want lightweight appliance and have a continuous draining system. And importantly, the dry laundry mode. And it is optional. They also wanted an optional maintenance service and as well as the LED display for it to work during night. And as for the environmental needs, they only requested to remove molds and debris, eliminating invaders such as cockroaches and lizards. And other than that is the alternative refrigerant use, which is a more eco-friendlier refrigerant. And lastly is the lower carbon footprint in production system. And finally is the safety needs. What does this dehumidifier safety needs are the end user risk, meaning that we need to make sure that it will not cause any hazard towards the consumers. And there will also be maintenance services on filter, motors, and refrigerant.
So based from the comparison that we already did before and the needs that we already placed into, the house quality are formed as shown. And as you can see, our company product will be having a better overall better rating compared to the competitors, and the technical parameters and the consumer preference are actually considered for all cases. And yeah, so for our business model canvas on the dehumidifier is as shown, and you can see there are the key partners, value proposition, and so on. You can go through that by pausing this video.
So moving on to the product performance specification, we will discuss about the needs, target properties, and target values. So for the first need is to reduce moisture, mold, and mildew. And the target properties is to have air filtered that having a suitable level content of water. To achieve target values of relative humidity ranges from 40% to 60%. The second need is to eliminate harmful contaminants from the air. So the target properties is air filtered will be bacteria and viruses free. To achieve target values of bacteria and viruses content zero concentration. Moving on to the summary of key components and configuration identification. So what is HEPA? High efficiency particulate air filter or HEPA filter is a type of air filter that refers to a benchmark for air filtering effectiveness. So HEPA filters usually are made of boron silicate microfibers formed into a flat sheet by a process similar to making a paper. So flat filter sheets are treated to increase the overall surface area. So plates are separated by aluminum baffles which direct the airflow through the filter. And the filter media is very delicate and should never be touched. So the function of HEPA air filter is to capture harmful contaminants in the surrounding along with reducing the moisture to the suitable level of humidity, which suit in Malaysia. HEPA air filter will capture moisture, dust, dirt, pollen, bacteria, virus, and submicron liquid aerosol, but it will have a little effect on smells or volatile organic compounds. Nor they can, nor can they catch gases, contaminants such chemicals, fumes, vapors, and odors. So air filtration will balance airflow, air pressure, and air filtration to clean as much as air as possible when it comes to enhancing air quality. Moving on to the working principle of HEPA filters. So firstly, HEPA filters are made by randomly arranging the polypropylene or fiberglass fibers. And even though in HEPA air filter, there are fibers, and even though the fibers can occasionally get tangled in the air filter, they can still flow air through and catch some of the particles. And the fibers also allow for the passage of air via small spaces because they can keep up with the rapid movement and fit through the threads. Larger particles become caught. And then, however, certain tiny particles have very little inertia and may go through the fiber mesh bands and twist as well as the air. So, moving on to the internal mechanism of HEPA air filter. That happens through impaction, interception, and diffusion for the air filters to collect the particles. So, in the first mechanism, which is the interception, fibers cling to the filter in areas where airborne particles are transported by the airflow. For the particles to be caught, they must be within one radius of the fiber. And the second mechanism, which is impaction, frequently captures larger particles, and due to their size, these particles might go into the filter fiber and become embedded since they are unable to adapt to abrupt changes in the airflow surrounding the filter. And then for the last mechanism, which is the diffusion, which happens as a result of how small particles travel and engage with nearby molecules, and they move in Brownian motion. They will collide with each other. And then a particle's passage through the HEPA filter is slowed down by this motion, enhances the likelihood that the particle will be caught by the first mechanism and the second mechanism.
For the physicochemical identification, a HEPA filter is a particular kind of high-quality air filter that satisfies the HEPA filter standard, which calls for the removal of particles with a minimum diameter of 0.3 microns and an average of at least 99.97% of the airborne particulate matter. To eliminate pollution particles, an air purifier forces room air through a filter. HEPA filters are by definition capable of capturing almost all airborne particles that are 0.3 microns in size or less. For the mathematical model and data determination, the product specification is the mathematical modeling including heat and mass transfer, tank size, and efficiency determination. For heat and mass transfer and efficiency, the energy conservation and mass conservation equation may be used to build the mathematical model, and the moisture efficiency of the dehumidifier may be used to define its performance, as shown by the equations below. The tank size and capacity of the dehumidifier is often expressed in pence per 24 hours and is based on two variables: the size of the area that has been dried out and the state of the area prior to drying. And the table below shows the pins, the how many pins needed for each area. Hence, the dimension of 19.6 cm length, 21.5 cm width, and 31.5 cm height can hold around 1 liter of water tank, which is around 2 pins that can have a coverage around of 2,000 cubic feet, which is 57 cubic meters.
Moving on to the third part, which is the product design. So based on the dimensions calculated and provided in chapter 2, the final product of the household dehumidifier has been produced using AutoCAD software. So this is the final 3D model of household dehumidifier. Next, from our 3D model, we have produced an orthographic drawing. So an orthographic drawing is a method of representing the picture of an item that is clear and detailed. An orthographic drawing represents a 3D object using several 2D views of the object. Orthographic drawing for this product will cover top view, which is plant view, left side view, and also front view. So this is our orthographic drawing. So moving on to the design selection. In order to satisfy customer needs, the materials for this household dehumidifier has been selected. The body for the dehumidifier is made of plastic so that it can operate under highly humid condition. Not just that, it is also important to consider the weight of the dehumidifier so that it can be easily be moved. The dimension used for the object is based on the calculation done in chapter 2, sorry, which are 19.6 centimeter length, 21.5 centimeter width, and 31.5 centimeter height. So this dehumidifier is user-friendly due to the dimensions as it is acceptable and the weight is very light compared with the other products. Apart from that, this dehumidifier also has a built-in LED display for safety consideration. The red light of the LED indicates the pure humidity level, while green LED light indicates normal level. Apart from these three design selection, this design also makes the dehumidifier produce very minimal noise. The color for this household dehumidifier is light gray and white so that the customer can choose depending on their preferences.
To begin the economic analysis, the cost and price of each unit of the dehumidifier is estimated based on the market price obtained from the internet. The raw material, including plastic for the body, zeolite as absorbent, HEPA filter for the filter, heat exchanger, fan, and motor. The total estimated cost per unit is around RM777.75. However, the estimated cost only cover the raw material and does not cover the labor cost, fixed cost, and miscellaneous costs. Therefore, the actual cost will be higher than the estimated cost. With this consideration, our product price is set at 1,200, which is slightly higher than other dehumidifier in the market. However, the selling price is still affordable and suitable with the plus points that our dehumidifier can provide.
For the investors' rate of return, or also known as IRR, our group has determined the assumption for all the costs for calculate IRR. Our group decided to sell a total of 5,000 units of dehumidifier each year. The bank interest rate and tax rate are assumed based on the rate in Malaysia. First, depreciation has been determined before calculating other components. By assuming the manufacturing equipment cost, which is 500,000 ringgit per year, depreciation has been calculated using the 5 years property class in Mars. This table depicts the value of depreciation for 3 years. Project cash value, or PCF, can be determined after calculating the depreciation. This table shows the summary table of the calculation for PCF, including the values for income from operation IFO, earnings before income tax EBIT, after tax operating income ATOI, and operating cash flow or OCF. After getting the value of NCF, we can calculate the IRR using the formula of net present value or NPV. IRR has been calculated by setting the value of NPV equals to 0. Then we get the value of IRR, which is 55.33%. Since IRR is more than the prevailing bank interest rate, which is 4.5%, this project for selling the dehumidifier can be continued.
All project cash flow values are summed up using the cumulative cash flow approach as shown in the table. A graph is generated to show the relationship between the project's cumulative cash and the year. From the generated graph, the payback period can be estimated with the cash flow become positive after about 14 months.